Alright, go to the class. Finally, after 1.5 days, I managed to find time to talk. Alright, so just a recap of what we're going to do today. Okay, so we're going to talk about subsequent close adjustment. Earlier in the day, we discussed what is private equity, the common terms that we use in private equity. Just to recap, okay, before we jump into this particular segment, we talked about two key terms this morning about private equity. One of them is known as commitment. Okay, commitment is a key term in private equity because you will commit certain amount into a private equity fund. Okay, by the term commitment, you probably remember you actually pledge to say that this is the amount that you invest in the fund, but it doesn't mean that you come up with the money right away. Okay, say for example, can commit 5 million, Kumari 10 million, or rich people 2 million for each of you guys here. Okay, in total, commit approximately about 16 million in total to the fund. Okay, does that mean you give the fund 16 million right at the beginning? No, you only provide the money to the fund as and when the fund has a new investment to purchase. Okay, say I want to buy an investment for $2 million. Okay, I will then ask from you guys a portion of your commitment to buy this particular investment. Okay, and this process, as we discussed in the morning, is known as capital call. Okay, as the name suggests, I'm calling for capital. Okay, I'm calling capital from your commitment to buy this particular investment. Okay, so you have committed some amount at the beginning when you agree to enter the fund. When I want to buy an investment, you will then pay up that portion of the investment that I'm going to call from you to buy this particular investment. Okay, so we'll recap what we discussed this morning, so that we can bring ourselves to the next segment, which is this subsequent close adjustment. Okay, some of us call it equalization. From this particular segment, there's a few learning outcomes that we want to achieve at the end of the section. First, we want to understand what is a subsequent close. Okay, list the step to create an equalization model. Okay, as an aspiring young private equity fund accountant that you guys want to be, it's important for you to understand what subsequent close and how to create an equalization model so that you can be employed into the private equity space. Okay, so these are the key steps. Obviously, understanding the steps is one thing. You will also be tasked to create an equalization model at the end of the segment. Are we clear on the learning outcome so far? Okay, let's move on. If you recap, this morning we talked about a typical life cycle of a PE fund. Okay? We only do this subsequent close adjustment at the initial period of the fund, okay? Which is during the subscription period. Okay? If you recall, this is the entire life of the fund from 2017 to about 2028, for example, approximately 11-12 years. That's the average life of the fund. We will only do subsequent close adjustment during what we know as a subscription period, which, if you look with the color, is typically at the start of the fund, perhaps within the first 2 to 3 years. Right? There's a time whereby fund manager will go out and look for more investors to commit into the fund. Okay? The fund manager doesn't want to have a fund with just $8 million. I mean, there's only a limit to how much he can do with this $8 million. He want to have more investors into his fund so that he can build a larger fund, so that he can go out and buy more profitable investment and make money for everyone here. Okay? So during the first 2 to 3 years, this is the time whereby he or she will go out and try to look for more investors at this stage. And think about it, investors are not all going to come in at the same time. This month, I managed to convince 2% to join me. Fantastic. 2 months later, I managed to convince 4 more people to join me. Great. Okay? So investors are going to come in at different period of time. Okay? Which is why we need to do a subsequent close adjustment as a private equity fund accountant. Alright? So this is just to remember, when do we do the subsequent close adjustment? At the start of the fund. So there is 4 major steps to create an equalization model. Okay? The very first step is to identify the capital amount that's previously allocated to the current investor. What do I mean by that? Okay? Remember, we talked about commitment. Okay? You still recall I mentioned just now, Ken invested $8 million, Jumari $2 million. Okay? So 8 million from Ken, 2 million from Jumari. Okay? Total the fund has 10 million commitment. Right? Assuming today I want to buy a shop house of $1 million. Alright? The shop house is worth $1 million. I would ask this money from Ken and Jumari. How much do I ask from them? Obviously, it will be based on their percentage in the fund. Ken holds 80% of the fund. Jumari holds 20% of the fund. Maybe we can all do the simple mathematics calculation. 8 over 10 gives you about 80%. Okay? So if I want $1 million to buy this shop house, yes, Ken will provide 800K. Jumari will provide how much? 200K. Okay? So this is what typically happens in during the first capital call. Alright? We first decide how much we have called previously from the current investor. In this case, Ken and Jumari, based on how much they have committed. Alright? If you look into the second line, alright, what do you see there? Mohan, would you go read for me? What's this? Expenses, thank you. So beside investment, the fund also needed some expense to run its operation, to pay lawyers, to pay auditors, to pay tax agents, for example. We need money to run the fund, alright? So there's going to be some running expenses as well. So the running expenses, the fund manager decides, oh well, I want to call 50,000 for it because for the next 6 months, I estimated my expenses to be 50,000. Likewise, this 50,000, I will also ask from these 2 investors, okay, based on their percentage. So it works out to be about 40K for Ken and then 10K for Jumari. So regardless of whatever things that I call for, whether is it for investment, whether it is for expense, I always call based on their percentage in the fund, based on their commitment. Alright? If you look into this particular table, okay, step 1, what we will do is we'll identify how much we have actually called from the investor. Okay? In this example, I have 3 investors. Each of them, 2 of them have 25%, 1 of them have 50%. So how I allocate this 1,050,000 will be based on their percentage in the fund at the beginning. Okay? With me so far? So this is the first step. We identify what's the amount that was called from the investor. Second step, we will then identify the commitment of all the investors, including the sub-close investor. What we mean by sub-close investor is investors that come in subsequently. Right? For example, 4 of you come in subsequently. Okay? You come to the fund, each of you decide, oh, I want to commit $2 million. Alright, fantastic. $2 million into the fund. So now my fund commitment, I used to have 10 million from Ken and Jumari. Now I plus another $8 million. So I have total of $18 million in the fund. You agree with me that, well, now with 18 million, percentage of them in the fund will reduce, wouldn't it? It will drop. Thank you. It will drop. So if I were to do a calculation, 8 over 18, okay, my maths isn't that good, I'm going to use a calculator later. 8 over 18 is approximately slightly more than 50%, say about 55%. Alright? So Ken used to have 80%, now he only owns 55%. Similarly for Jumari, the this percentage will drop as well, and you guys will have certain percentage into the fund. Alright? The key thing on step 2 is to identify all the commitments in the fund. And then we recalculate the amount that was supposed to be called from you guys, including the new and existing investor. Okay? So step 2, identify all. Step 3, we then recalculate. So looking at the example, the table below, right? The first 3 investors was unhighlighted. These are the first 3 investors that we have in the fund initially. The green, those highlighted in green are the new investors that come in. In this, my example, I have 2 new investors highlighted in green. Notice their commitment in the previous slide was 4 million, now it's $8 million because I've included 2 other investors of 2 million. So total brings up to 8 million. The amount of money that I call from the investor is still 1 million because I only buy 1 shop house so far. The amount that I call for expenses is still 50,000 because that's the expense that that the fund manager thinks that he's going to spend in the next 6 months. This two amount doesn't change. What changed is the allocation to each investor changes. If you look into this line, the percentage, you'll notice the percentage for those unhighlighted has kind of reduced because you guys agree when new people come in, my share get diluted, my percentage reduced. Therefore, the amount that I should contribute to this shop house and the expenses reduced as well. Right? So the amount actually is being reduced. What should happen to the money? Shouldn't the existing investors get back this money as well? Do you think so? Do you think you should get back the money since you're kind of overpaid? Okay, I see Ken nodding.
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. Ken should be getting back this money since in a way I've overpaid for my share. Alright? Which that brings us to step 4. Which is to calculate the difference between step 1 and step 3. Remember, step 1 we only calculated based on 2 investors. Alright? Step 2 we identify all the investors that come in. Step 3 we recalculate the amount based on the new investors and existing investors. Step 4 is to find out what is the difference. Okay? So the difference, very simply, is just to take whatever number that you can find in step 1 minus whatever number that you calculate in step 3 to work out the difference. So if you notice, in total, the fund does not get additional money. Because if you have worked out your math, right, whatever amount that I calculate from the new investor, I will redistribute them back to the existing investor. So from a fund perspective, I did not have additional money in my bank account. The fund is just acting as an agent to redistribute the money from the new investor to the existing investor, to kind of balance out everyone at this stage. Okay? Some of you may ask, well, isn't it a little bit unfair for the existing investors to kind of pay in advance of the existing investors? Would you think for existing investors, would you think it's unfair? Well, I paid earlier for these guys for at least 2-3 months. The money could be earning interest in the bank account. You think that way, right? Notice something different on the chart. What do you see that thing that's highlighted in pink? Premium interest, thank you. Okay? Notice this premium interest. Who has a positive number and who has a negative number? Earlier investors have a positive number. New investors have a negative investor. Okay? So to calculate subsequent close adjustment, we need to include this interest as well. Okay? The interest rate is defined initially in the limited partnership agreement that you have signed. Approximately, on average, in the market is about 7 to 8%. Okay? So you guys, because you guys come in the fund late, right, and these guys have already paid up this investment before you, alright? It's only right for you to pay up the interest to them as well, to compensate what we know as time value of money. Because this money to them, they can jolly well put in the bank and then interest, but they use it first to buy this shop house for the fund. So it's only right for you to pay up this interest to them as well. Okay? So this entire calculation is what we know as a subsequent close adjustment. At the bottom is the total amount receivable and payable. Notice the payable is always bracket, so this is the amount that the new investor have to pay in total, and this amount that's not in brackets positive. It means this is the amount that the existing investor will receive back. Okay, so just to balance everyone out, at this stage, to take into account you guys coming in. Okay, so just to show you how does the entire equalization model looks like. First, you identify what is the current allocation between existing investor. Second, you identify the commitment of all investors, including the new investor. Third step, you calculate based on what you have called for, okay, how you redistribute between the new investor and the existing investor. And lastly, the fourth step, you calculate the difference between step 1 and step 3 to reach the total amount that should be redistributed between the new investor and the existing investor. So just to reiterate, step 3 is simply taking the number from step 1. Say for example, 250,000 minus 125,000 gives you 125,000. This is the difference that we'll recalculate. Okay? And the bottom is simply a summation. With me so far? Okay. Now that I've explained how to calculate subsequent closed model, let's do a little bit of recap. The 4 steps. Okay? What's the 4 steps that we have to calculate an equalization model? Step 1. Who still recall? And this investment amount for the existing investor. Okay? We identify the capital call amount previously allocated to the current investor. Step 2. For you guys. What do we do in step 2? Now that we've identified how much they have called for them, what do we do in step 2? Now that we know the new investors have come in. Before we distribute, we need to know something first.
The amount you put in by the new investor.
Correct. We need to know the amount that is committed by all investors, which means the new plus the existing. Third step, back to you guys. What do we do when we know all the amount? Then we redivide it based on new and existing investor. Okay? We recalculate the allocation based on all the investors, okay? Including existing and new investors. And lastly, the 4th step, what do we do?
Divide the percentage accordingly.
Yeah, divide percentage accordingly is actually step 3, so you divide already.
So 3 step 1 and step
Correct. Now, the 4th step is to calculate the difference between step 1 step 2, and step 3. Okay? Okay, now we have a mini activity, okay, to do calculation. I will need you guys to take out your mobile phone, okay, because we're going to do some simple mathematical calculation. You can turn on your calculator function. Okay. Okay, looking at the activity, this is what you would typically use to create an equalization model. Alright? Your task, look at the top left-hand corner. On 24th of July, Acta Private Equity Fund admitted 2 limited partners. Limited partner D, commitment is $3 million. limited partner E commitment is $4 million. Okay? So we need to calculate the amount to be received or paid by the limited partners. For the purpose of this activity, we're not including the interest portion at all. Okay? So all we need to do is recalculate the amount of capital call between new and existing investor. All you need to do is to populate the numbers in the green cell. Okay? I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to do so. We'll go through the answer together after 5 minutes. I'll be walking around the class, so if you guys are stuck, raise your hand and I'll come to you. Okay, I see you guys are getting it. For those that didn't get it, you can discuss with your classmate. Okay, where if you are stuck. Okay, I can see some of them have really kind of understand the concept, has completed the activity sheet. I'll give you guys another minute to complete, and then we'll go through the answer together. Okay, I think you guys have gotten the concept. Let us go through the answer together. Okay. All right. So looking at the worksheet, you will see the first thing you need to do in column E18. Okay. If you look at the top of the worksheet, there's all these cells over there. First thing you need to put in is to identify what is the new investor. So what did you put in over here for column E18?
3 million.
3 million, okay? And you need to identify the investor as new investor D, okay? So you have 3 million for investor D, and for investor E, what's his commitment? $4 million. Great, okay? I'll work out for you what is the allocation based on their new commitment of 3 million and $4 million, okay? The allocation has been completed. Alright? The fourth step, which is to find out the difference. Alright? For investor A, how much do you think you receive for the difference on investment 2? For investor A, how much should he receive back for investor 2? For investment 2? 350k. Okay? How do you get 350k? He's supposed to receive back, based on the new allocation, he's supposed to pay out only 250k. But at the beginning, he paid up 600k. Okay? So 350k is what he's supposed to receive back. Alright? Investor B, for investment 1, he should get back 116667. 116,667. Okay? You guys can kind of work the calculation for investor A, B, and C. For investor D and E, you realize that there's nothing to minus off. Whatever that you have calculated in step 3 is the amount that he has to pay out. Okay, it's the amount he has to pay out. There's nothing to minus off because he didn't pay anything in day 1. Okay, so whatever they calculated in step 3 is the amount that he should pay out. Okay, in step 4. Okay, I'm sure you can work out your calculation, the summation at the end, at the bottom. Okay? So this is how we complete an equalization model. Okay? If you do not get the same answer, that's fine. After during the break time, I'll come to you and check with you what are some of the calculations that may have gone wrong. Okay? Let's come to the end of the equalization class. You guys have any questions?
Sure. Can I have another two new more investors? That means F and G.
You can. You could. You can have as many investors as you want. Okay, so long as the fund manager is capable enough to attract new investors. Okay? Sometimes the fund manager, the fund may decide, okay, look, I may close the fund when I reach a certain target. Say 100 million is his target. If we reach 100 million, we close the fund. Alright? But in today's market, it's a little bit difficult to meet the target. Okay? So that is the current situation that we are facing now. Alright? Thank you guys for your attention. If there's any questions, I can answer you right after the class. Okay?